everyone, it's Qcknd and it is 5-Pack Friday. Oh, my chair. I got some goodies today for everybody and I'm super excited. Really? With my whole life. I'll wait. So it's 5-Pack Friday. I got some really cool questions that I'm really stoked about. And the first one I got right off Tumblr. I actually got a couple off Tumblr, so let me grab those. I have him in my little John bag. I miss him. I miss my son. Anyway. Sorry. It's like 3 o'clock and I haven't spoken yet, so I feel like my vocal cords are kind of whatever. So you might catch me sipping. Here's my first question, and it said, Friday, do you give to beggars, homeless, people asking for money? Do you have particular feelings on the matter? And I think that this question is directly related, well, influenced by yesterday with my vlog series on the Pope, which I hope to continue. If you haven't seen those, I can leave links and stuff. I feel like they're really interesting and fun to see what's happening in Philadelphia, but a lot in the video I talk about the homeless, and I interview a homeless woman, and I like walk by a homeless camp to kind of see what the vibe is. And my feeling about homeless and like beggars and panhandlers is different all the time. And I think if you live in a city or live in a place with a homeless population, you might know what I'm talking about. I kind of play a lot of it by ear and situation. For example, when I worked in the big open market, homeless people and beggars would come in all the time, but sometimes there's an element of danger with beggars and homeless people and panhandlers, so I like to just be cautious. I've been like tricked before, and maybe all of us have, like, can I have change for $1? And then they keep the change and they leave, things like that. There was one instance where Justine, you might know her, and we went to see a show at the Electric Factory, which is just like a venue, and we drove from wherever and we parked. When we came back outside, there was a guy standing by the car, kind of lurking around, and I was like, come on, let's just get in the car. And he was like, you know, I watched your car for you. Aren't you gonna pay me? Things like that, I don't patronize things like that. I don't like it. I think that it's aggressive and it's weird and it makes me scared. And there are a lot of times where I don't give to panhandlers. Money, at least. I try not to give money ever. But sometimes I give food, and you know that people want money instead, and they're kind of mad at you. That's happened to me endless amounts of times. There's a common thing where if you're on the train, panhandlers walk from one end of the train to the other, and one guy was like, can you spare anything? Can you spare anything? And I was like, yeah, I just went food shopping. Do you want a banana? Do you want an orange? And he was like, money. And I was like, you said anything. And I offered you food from my own grocery bag. And he was just like, and I still see him all the time, so way to burn the bridge. And as some of you may know, if you've been in my house or you follow me on Snapchat or whatever, there's a homeless guy who lives on our front step. He's lived there for about a year now. He competes with me for living here. We've known him for a while. He used to panhandle 2 blocks down and he would sell art. And I guess he came up 2 blocks and settled right in on our front step. So yeah, he's lived there for like a year. And I've had friends come over who were like, yeah, he literally lives on the step. I didn't know he literally lived on your front step. And I'm like, yeah, that's Scott. He lives there. Scott's cool. Sometimes I'm mad at him, sometimes I'm not, but he's really sensitive. So he'll wonder, like, he'll come up to you and be like, are you mad at me? Do you want to talk about it? I noticed the other day you were in a bad mood. Is it my fault? And I'm like, Scott, come on. He's cool though. When our Bronco was hit by the Ryder truck, Ryder sent out like private investigators and they interviewed Scott, and it was cool. Scott was like really deep for that. He protects our house. I don't know. But, you know, sometimes he'll leave a lot of trash out there. Sometimes he'll fall asleep, whatever. And it's kind of hard, and John has like told this to me before, and he says like, you can't feel bad because you can't save every person and you don't owe him anything, so don't feel like you do. And it's true, and I try to keep that in mind. There used to be another homeless guy who was like a little crazier who lived outside, and since Scott moved in, he is here less and less. So sometimes I'm like grateful for Scott for like keeping other homeless people away from the house, because like he's here and panhandling, so I guess they all found other locations. If this sounds kind of twisted, I swear this is all true. But yeah, I don't know. One time I saw a homeless into a trash can. That ruined my day. I see them pee all the time everywhere. My old roommate let a homeless person into our house once, and that sucked. I was on the phone with my mom upstairs just like, what am I supposed to do right now? What am I supposed to do? And my roommate didn't really know because she is like from a very rural area. So after a few hours of this woman like in our house, we had to have a conversation where I was like, homeless people can't come in the house. And she was like, but I want to help the homeless. And I was like, you need to join like a homeless outreach program where you can deal with people through an organization, because every person has a story, and sometimes people have mental illnesses and dependencies that like require skills in order to deal with. So I don't know, I've had like so many interactions with like beggars and homeless people, and sometimes they're positive and sometimes they're negative and sometimes they're just like completely out of pocket. So really I just play every single situation by ear. I don't have like a yes or no answer for that. But to put it in perspective, I probably get asked by a panhandler 15 times a day, like random panhandlers, just from walking outside, walking to the L, waiting for the L, getting on the L, getting to my destination, walking to my destination, walking back, getting home. 15 on average people ask me for money, and you can't pick and choose. You have to just decide yes or decide no. But you know, it's like Scott, like every once in a while I'll make him like some food if I'm eating. In the summer we would refill his water bottle pretty frequently, too frequently. But that's my experience with homeless people. Usually you can talk to them. Like, it was really cool that that lady let me ask her a couple questions. I did throw her a couple bucks, but it happens. So my next question is right off Tumblr here. This one is also related to the Pope vlogs. Hi, could you please address the crazy thing you and your friends have experienced so far with Popemania? Hope I'm not too late for 5 Fact Friday. So, I might get in trouble for this story, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. So far everything has been really crazy, and there are two things. One, John was offered some side work in the Poconos, and he had to leave the city, and he won't be coming back until tonight. Yesterday, 2 days ago, a lot of the main streets were completely shut down, and last night the train systems were shut down, and I believe tonight all the major highways will be closed and barricaded. So there is a lot of worry in my heart that John won't be able to get back in the city, and that's kind of crazy for me. I really do not want to go this whole weekend without him. It's been over a year since we've spent the night without each other, and you know, we're both cool and calm and collected and sometimes emotionally unavailable people, but yesterday when we had to say goodbye, there was just kind of an element of like, this might be goodbye until Monday. So that was kind of sad and a little hard to handle. But I don't know, he's got my Bronco. So that's pretty crazy to know that like he had to leave and he might not be able to come back. I don't know. So the other story that's like too hot to handle. So Thursday night, I kind of knew that going to school I might be stuck there. One of the girls who goes to my school also lives in my neighborhood, so I was going to grab a ride home with her, but she decided to leave the city for all of this going on. So when I got to school, she wasn't there, and I was already like, this is risky. So all of the trains were shut down at 10 o'clock, no more service. We were kind of telling our teachers, like, hey, like, a majority of us may get stuck here. And then a lot of people didn't even show up for school. So there was like 5 girls there. And my teacher said, it's really busy tonight, we booked over 30 clients. And I was like, 30 clients? There's 5 of us. There's 5 girls here. And in the back of your mind, you're always thinking, like, this is a school, this is a school, this is a school, this isn't my job, this isn't my job, I don't get paid, this isn't my job, how am I benefiting, how am I learning? And the teachers always turn it like, this is good experience. And I'm like, no, it's not. So I was like, can I talk to somebody? Can I talk to the lady in charge? Like, I want her to know that I have to leave early tonight if I have a fair chance at getting home. And my teacher was like, you know, we've been dealing with this problem all day, so I don't think you're gonna be able to speak to her. And I was like, if this was a problem all day, then it's a problem. And my teacher said, do the best you can tonight. So Livia and I grabbed our stuff and we stormed out. And we got home and we were like, that probably wasn't the right thing to do, because now 30 clients were split up between 3 girls and not 5. But I just thought my school handled it really inappropriately. All Philadelphia School District has been closed all week. CCP was closed all week. University City was closed. Our school was the only one that was still open. And it's no fault to the clients, because most of my clients think that we're a salon. They don't think that we're a school. So they just probably booked all those appointments trying to look hot for the Pope. But I think my school could have, like, not booked all those clients or gave us the day off. And when I was like, hey, you know, the train's close at 10 tonight, she was like, I didn't hear that. I'm like, well, there's a flyer right there at the train station. And she was like, can you grab it for me? And I was like, if I grab it, then other people can't see it. So in order to get home alive, safe and sound, we skipped school. And, like, we're feeling really bad about it, and, like, I shouldn't have done that. But I was feeling really dehumanized at school, which is supposed to be an enriching environment, and it just totally wasn't. I felt like, I don't know. I felt like they were working me instead of, like, showing compassion and worrying about how I get home. And since I'm the only one here right now at John's house, I wanted to make sure his parents were okay. And if I got stuck in University City, 1, John couldn't pick me up. 2, if something happened to his parents, I'd feel so bad and they would be so fucked. So all that going through my mind, I was like, but I feel bad. But a lot of the girls were like, we're leaving too, like, I'm taking 1 client and I'm leaving, this is crazy. 30 clients, that's kind of weird. So I got another cool question on Tumblr that was like, hey, like, I'm gonna start getting tattooed on my legs. What do you recommend for building, like, a bunch of tattoos on the leg at once? I think they said leg sleeve, but I know what you're talking about. And then they said that mine looked so planned out and nice. And thank you. My best advice, I guess, for building your arms doesn't come from, like, personal experience, I guess, but it comes from now I know better. Because staying seated, let's just pretend this is my leg. I started with a couple big tattoos on my legs and then kind of filled in the gaps. And from the beginning, you might want to decide, like, what large tattoo you want to start out with, or if you want a little tiny tattoos all at once. For me, personally, my tattoos came from, like, economic health and surplus in my expenses, and my tattoos have never been, like, super planned out until now. When I was younger, it was more just like, there are helicopters everywhere. When I was younger and starting to get tattooed, a lot of my tattoos came from, I have $350, how big can we go? And now my tattoos are more just like, I have a blank spot right there and it keeps me up at night. But I can kind of decide a little better what I would like, and if I could start all over, I would probably plan things out with a larger piece and like another larger piece, because after you start to get all these little knick-knack tattoos, you can never go very big ever again. And the bigger your tattoo, the more detail it can incorporate and things like that. So when you run out of space, you have to get these little baby jammer tattoos that may not be what you want. Also, my advice is, if you know that you want to get your entire leg, your entire arm tattooed, find an artist that you really love, like unconditionally, everything they do is perfect. Email them, talk to them, start a dialogue with them and say, hey, like, I choose you and I want to get my entire leg done one day, like, and work out something together. And usually that is really cool and helpful. Like, even now, a lot of my arm is done by Mark Cross, but my upper arm is almost a different style, and I really wish that they were a lot more uniform to kind of complete the whole arm. And the differences, like, make it very noticeable that it's just like a hodgepodge of tattoos. I think a way to avoid that is to consult with just one artist about what you want and what your tattoo goals are. If not, you can be like me. In order to use like the worst cliche ever, I would say that my tattoos are more like a passport book of stamps, because I just like artists, and I like researching the artists, I like traveling to the artists, getting to know them, meeting them, I love them. And sometimes I'll set like little tattoo goals for myself, like, let's get tattooed by a girl, let's get tattooed of this. So I don't necessarily have a ton of space, and there's not really an algorithm to the way I get tattooed. I just know that one day I want my right leg done and I want my right arm done. So it's kind of just like Tetris, just building up. And since I don't have just one artist who works on my leg, I do stick to a particular style of tattoo. That way there is some cohesiveness to the mess that I have going on. And I think that this is helpful too. It might be more difficult if you go all these different styles, because I think that different style tattoos also age differently, and you may end up with a leg that's like bright and then not as bright, and the lines didn't stick, and the lines are too thin, these lines are really bold. I don't really know. I don't think there's any right or wrong answer, but if the person who asked the question wants to know about my legs, I stick with one particular style. If I could go back in time, I would stick with just one artist. That way they can plan things, because filler is a bitch. Filler tattoos are great and clever, but you have to find yourself a nice, clever artist who is used to these filler tattoos, because blank spots keep me up at night. They are so crazy. I had this like little spot right here that Mark Cross put these shaking hands, because this spot, like, what tattoo fits here? But I need it tattooed. A lot of people get dot filler and star filler. My friend Alex just got this like fog filler that I really like. And you can get filler tattoos, like stars and stuff like that. Personally, I like these clear blank spaces. I think that they're really neat. But yeah. So I'm going to finalize with this. So a lot of you asked me, hey, I don't have Snapchat, I wanted to see your new tattoo. And I'll give a little information about that. So I was at Qcknd Society last Saturday. I took my first Uber. It was super exciting. And thank you everybody who helped me take that Uber, by the way. So I went to Qcknd Society and I saw Mike Ski. He is super rad. A lot of you asked me, where can I get tattooed in Philly? And my 100% recommendation is to hit up Mike Ski. He does take appointments through email, and you might have to wait up to 6 weeks, but I think that that's very fast, very average. He tattoos in a private studio. I have a video all about me like getting tattooed by him, an episode of Public Record. He's amazing. We took some like DSLR photos of the tattoo afterwards, but I didn't know if he wanted to post them, if I was gonna post them. So it's about a week healed, so it's gonna be kind of dusty and kind of, but I'll show it to you guys. The reason behind the tattoo, so Joanna Newsom announced a European tour, and Joanna Newsom, if you are new, is my whole life. She's my favorite artist, my favorite person. She gives me so much inspiration. She wakes me up in the morning and pours the coffee right in my cup. So Joanna Newsom announced a European tour, and although she hasn't announced a US tour, I died and I just had to celebrate, so I emailed Mike Ski and I was like, hey my dude, Joanna's going on tour, what are we gonna do about it? So he fit me in and I got a Mercy Me tattoo. Joanna uses the phrase Mercy Me a lot in her last studio album, and now with her new studio album coming out in October 23rd, I just wanted to celebrate her European tour. I feel like it will bring good vibes to me, and she will come to the US and I will go to every single show. So if you guys want to let me stay at your house while I'm on my Joanna Newsom tour, that has not been announced yet and I just fabricated in my mind. But without further ado, so I know some of you heard me say that I never wanted to get my left leg tattooed, my left side, but John was doing some like contractor work or whatever, and we went to a guy's house. I came with him as like nice girlfriend, and when he opened the door, there was like a dog, and the dog scratched me. I was bleeding, and I was like trying to be really cool, like, hey, that's a cool dog, I love dogs. And the guy was like, yeah, he loves girls. And I was like, yeah. Meanwhile, I'm bleeding, like dripping blood throughout the house, trying to be cool, like. And then we get outside and I was like, John, what the f? You know I have a tattoo appointment tomorrow. Look at this scratch. So, not wanting to cancel my appointment and not wanting to yell at a dog, I got it on my left leg. And I have a lot of feelings about it, but I don't want to address them because I don't want to be a grouch. Here's the tattoo. So this is Pie Pack Friday. Thank you so much for tuning in, sending in your questions. I just wanted to let everybody know that there is a special lookbook video on this look after this video. I'm so excited to bring it to you. I have been very inspired by all of the Pope stuff that's been happening in the city. Check out my videos. I loved vlogging the other day. Thank you so much for encouraging me to vlog. I had a really nice time. Give that video a thumbs up. Give this video a thumbs up. If you want me to start vlogging a little more, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much. All the kind words. Everyone who says, you're my favorite underrated YouTuber. Yeah, cool. Let your friends know. Subscribe, and yeah, stay tuned for the lookbook. So excited. I haven't filmed one in forever. Check out the vlogs, check out the next video, let me know, and yeah, don't be afraid to keep me company on Snapchat while John isn't here. I'm pretty scared about all that. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I love you, and until next time, bye! The homeless guy lives on our step is selling Pope keychains. That's smart. Look at all these people.